Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win, or you find a way to lose. Sugar Hill. So let's actually get it. Let's actually get it straight, man. When it comes to Sugar Hill, obviously, most of us, and if you're watching this video, know who he is, especially from his work with Tyson Fury, going into the second and third fights with Deontay Wilder. Also with the work he did with Tyson Fury going into the fight with Dillian White. But Sugar Hill's real name is Javan, and he is the nephew of Emmanuel Steward, and he adopted Steward's last name. Now, Emmanuel Steward to Sugar Hill was like a father. So Sugar Hill is a guy who was in the Kronk gym with Sugar Hill, spent a whole lot of time underneath his uncle and watching his uncle train a lot of great champions. Matter of fact, if you look at the picture below, you'll see a young Tyson Fury with Andy Lee, Emmanuel Steward, and that guy there on the left of the screen is Sugar Hill with a little bit of hair on his head. So he and Tyson Fury supposedly had a connection when Tyson Fury first came abroad to the States and was in the Kronk gym. Tyson Fury was reportedly, beating everybody in the gym. So that's when Sugar Hill noticed him, and it sounds like Tyson Fury noticed Sugar Hill at the same time. But for those of you who are saying, okay, well, who is he? There's not really a lot of information on him. But I'll tell you one thing about him is we know he's a trainer, but Sugar Hill was also a Detroit police officer, and he was a former chef, okay? But he's definitely best known for being the boxing trainer to Tyson Fury. Now, when you think about this guy, Sugar Hill, to a lot of us, it's like he came out of nowhere. And he disappeared. Tyson Fury on his team. No one knew who he was. Why in the world would Tyson Fury distance himself from Ben Davison and Freddie Roach? Now, let's think about Ben Davison. Ben Davison is a very young, very intelligent, excellent trainer, and he was the guy that Tyson Fury needed when Tyson Fury was deciding to come back to the sport, and he was trying to climb out of that dark hole that he was in, dealing with all of his, more than well-known struggles, emotionally, physically, everything, okay? Mentally. Ben Davison is the one who we can give the credit to for helping Tyson Fury shed all that weight. Ben Davison is the one who helped Tyson Fury psychologically and brought him back to life and helped him get through those first couple boxing matches. Ben Davison and Tyson Fury decided, was Tyson Fury going to fight Wilder, that it wouldn't hurt to get a little bit of help going into this fight because they knew it was a huge fight. They knew what Wilder brought to the table. I think Tyson Fury also realized that Ben Davison is very good at what he does, but he's not seasoned in these big heavyweight fights, big title matches. So we just needed someone a little more experience to bring a little more confidence to the team. They brought on Freddie Roach. They went to the fight with Deontay Wilder, and everything went as good as it could have gone in the style that Tyson Fury chose to fight. At the end of that fight, when they were interviewing Freddie Roach, this is why I think Freddie Roach didn't come back for the second fight. Because Freddie Roach said he actually, I want to make sure I say this right, he wasn't trying to disrespect Ben Davison, but he was saying that Tyson Fury could have got him out of there and Ben Davison failed to advise Tyson Fury correctly. Freddie Roach said he would have told Tyson Fury to press, get him out of there. But Ben Davison was more okay with just trying to just avoid the big right hand, box, move around, don't take any chances at all. Freddie Roach, like Emmanuel Steward, is a guy that's like, get him out of there. We don't get paid for overtime. So I think when Freddie Roach came out and kind of highlighted, in his opinion, that Davison wasn't qualified or experienced enough to make the right calls at the right time in that fight, which would have earned Tyson Fury a knockout victory over Wilder. So going forward, the bit of ups and downs with Freddie Roach, Ben Davison had nothing bad to say about him, had a lot of respect for him, just felt that Freddie would have come to him. Freddie said he wasn't trying to be disrespectful, but we all know Freddie Roach, he'll say anything. Freddie Roach doesn't bite his tongue. So going forward, Tyson Fury's trying to figure out what to do next. Got Ben Davison there. Think he's feeling like Ben Davison isn't what's needed because Tyson Fury got into it with water. He got knocked down once, he got killed, and then came back to life at the end of the fight. And I think that's where Tyson said, you know what, this I can't do this going into a second fight with this guy. This guy's gonna knock me out. So he went back to his what he says is the roots, got the old team together. Down come Sugar Hill Steward. The whole world is shocked. Everyone's trying to figure out why in the world would he get rid of Freddie Roach? For this guy, an unknown to most people. In the boxing community, people know who he is. But to just the average Joe, and even like myself, I knew that he was involved in some guys' fights, but I wouldn't have, when it comes to matching resumes, Sugar Hill's resumes and Freddie Roach's, there's no comparison. So the move didn't make sense to me. So anyway, Tyson Fury enlists Sugar Hill. They plan a strategy to knock Deontay Wilder out. They will knock Deontay Wilder out. So when he said that, I was a little shocked. But I do remember reading an article where Freddie Roach said Tyson Fury is an exceptional boxer and he has power. And I was like, power? But Freddie Roach, he's a straight shooter. If you don't have a lot of power, he just won't address it. But he said he had power, and I was shocked because we've never really seen Tyson Fury show real power in a boxing match. And then all of a sudden now, they talk about power and the Crunk Gym style and knockouts and this, and Emmanuel Stewart loved knockouts, and I'm his nephew, and I believe in knockouts, and we're going to stop him. I did believe he could stop Deontay Wilder because in the first fight, he was pushing Deontay Wilder back, and Deontay Wilder didn't like it. And I was like, man, he can get him out of there. But he took his foot off the gas, which was an intelligent move because it could have backfired. But going into the second fight, I'm like, well, we're going to see what happens. Because, Deontay Wilder, the Bronze Bomber, if he touches him, he's out of there. So now, they're going into the second fight, but people are still wondering, how is this guy going to pull it off? What are his qualifications? Then you do a little research and you find out that Sugar Hill Stewart is one of the main reasons behind Adonis Stevenson being so successful as a light heavyweight. He's one of the main reasons for Anthony Durrell being so successful as let me see, what was Anthony Durrell, man? I'll tell you right now. Super middleweight. So, and then there was Charles Martin. So when it comes to Stevenson, if you guys didn't know, he's retired from boxing because he had that bad, had a little bit of bleeding on his brain and all that. He was in bad shape after that fight. Who was Stevenson fighting, man, when he got messed up? I can't remember who he was fighting, man. See, I shouldn't even have brought that topic up if I don't know off the top of my damn head, right? I can't remember who he was fighting, but he got messed up in that fight. But anyway, Stevenson, nicknamed Superman, was one of the boxing's hardest punchers. No doubt about that. See what he did to Chad Dawson. I think that's what really put Stevenson on the map, is when he just totally short-circuited Chad Dawson in that fight. But he won the WBC Ring Magazine and linear light heavyweight titles in 2013 under Sugar Hill's guidance. He also clipped Tony Bellew back in the day, for those of you who didn't know. Then Durrell is another one who tasted gold under Sugar Hill. He won the WBC super middleweight title twice, first in 2014, then again 2 years ago, and in 2019 after beating Evan Yildirim, which was a technical split decision. And then Charles Martin won the IBF heavyweight title in 2016. The way he won that, he won it, but it was a joke. The other guy couldn't continue. But, as soon as he went there with Anthony Joshua, Charles Martin totally fell apart. And not sure what happened, but he still had to say that to get to that point, to be fighting for a belt, Sugar Hill had a lot to do with that, and he deserves credit, deserves recognition. So when you go forward and you think about that, Sugar Hill's just not somebody who was just sitting on his couch playing the damn Nintendo Switch or watching boxing videos or just, sitting around spinning his wheels, and then all of a sudden decides, hey, this guy's soliciting me to come and help out in this boxing match. Let me come with my limited knowledge. No, the guy's been around boxing for a long time, right underneath Emmanuel Steward, in the gym, training boxers, learning everything. It's no different from Freddie Roach with his mentor, the guy with the glasses, man, older, black guy with the glasses, man. See, I can't even call these damn names, so I'm sure somebody's gonna blast me in the comments, man. But anyway, when you're coming up underneath somebody like that, who's showing you, guiding you, teaching you, talking to you, building you up, getting your confidence up to be able to train fighters, putting you hands-on with fighters, doing mitts, hitting the heavy bag. He was a chef, so he knew about diet, nutrition. He knew about the creating the proper balance of proteins, carbohydrates, unsaturated fats and everything. So Sugar Hill was probably one of the most qualified guys to be in anyone's camp as a head trainer. And in addition to that, probably more importantly, he was an ex-Detroit police officer. So with that, and I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt, there comes a lot of discipline. There comes a lot of responsibility. It has the right attitude and the ability to effectively communicate on a verbal and written level. Those four things, people: attitude, communication, responsibility, discipline. I teach those things to my sons, man. That's why I was able to rattle them off my head like that. I didn't research that. I teach that to my kids. I've been teaching. That's just the military in me, man. I did 25 years in the military, so those are the things that I find are the most important things, especially when trying to build somebody up, whether young or old. When you're trying to build them up, what I say, I have my favorite reggae artist is Super Cat. They were talking about Super Cat with Sean Paul and saying Sean Paul was trying to take Super Cat's style. So someone came and asked Super Cat a question. Hey, what do you think about Sean Paul? Expecting Super Cat to say something negative. He said, I don't break down champions, I build them. And I was like, yo, that's perfectly stated. So when I came up with those four things, attitude, responsibility, discipline, and communication, it's all in an effect to build champions and not break them down. And I think those four things is what Sugar Hill has, and that's what he's able to impart to anyone who comes through his hands as a head trainer. Discipline, responsibility, attitude, and communication. And it's spot on to me. And that's why he is so effective, and that's why Tyson Fury has such a gratefulness for this man. It's not just the boxing. I'm sure there are other conversations they've had outside of boxing where Sugar Hill's been able to kind of tap into his little toolbox, his little experience, and say, well, maybe look at it this way. And to put a little twist on it, where Tyson Fury wouldn't normally get that from someone else. So Sugar Hill is so many layers to him, but at the same time, you see, they should have put the phone on silence, right? But Sugar Hill is still kind of a big question mark over him, but I wanted to shed some light on him because he deserves to be lauded for his efforts with Tyson Fury, his efforts with previous fighters, and his commitment to making sure Emmanuel Steward's legacy continued on. When Emmanuel Steward passed away, it's Sugar Hill Steward that stepped in and kept the Kronk gym going, kept everything alive, kept making sure that the fighters and stuff had a place to train and stuff like that. He didn't just let it fall to the wayside. So he's a special human being. But back on the topic, as far as who he is, what's his qualifications, well, now you know. Man is very qualified. And Benny, I think the guy's name was Benny, who was Freddie Roach was working underneath. But I'm going crazy, see. Now I'm about to go crazy. Freddie Roach, trainer. Let me see if I can pull that name up real quick because it is driving me crazy that I'm sitting here doing a video and I can't even say Futch, Eddie Futch. That's it. See, I'm not going to leave you hanging, so don't kill me in the comments. It was Eddie Futch, man. So when it comes to Sugar Hill, him working on these Steward, like Freddie Roach on the Eddie Futch, man, and, just amazing. Absolutely amazing, man. So give a man his credit. That's who he is. Not much information on him. I think the only way to find out more about him is to touch base with someone who personally knows him because it's just not out there on the websites, on the different websites. So, as always, man, appreciate your support. Shout out to all the veterans. You guys take care. Really enjoy doing these videos. Y'all please keep safe, man. And as always, I'm in the breeze.